Greetings and welcome, people. At the moment I'm not entirely sure whether this particular vlog will make it to the YouTube. We'll see how it goes, because it's basically going to be on something of a contentious issue. You only have to look at quite a lot of the motovlogger content on YouTube to realise that a significant number of them have got very loud exhausts. I am reluctant to call them silencers because they don't do anything in the way of silencing. Most of them are simply open pipes with a very nice carbon fibre or stainless steel or titanium case. And more bloody traffic lights, good grief. Now what you'll hear a lot of them say, or claim, is that they have these loud pipes because it's safer. You've all heard the saying, loud pipes save lives. Now, I have tried, but I've not been able to find any scientific backing for that claim. Nobody has done any studies, nobody has done any analysis of accident data. I'm not even sure how you would go about doing that analysis, but then I'm not a statistician, so I do wonder whether most of the thinking behind fitting these loud pipes is because actually they think that that makes them more like their track heroes, so they can go out and do what's called a street Rossi, or alternatively it could be because it's more of a exhibitionist type of thing. They're basically making a loud noise saying, look at me, I'm special, I'm riding a motorcycle with a loud exhaust. Then they turn around and say, well, I've got to justify it to skeptics, which I mean, I'm sure quite a number of motorcyclists are like myself are sceptical of that claim. And say, well, it's safer. Actually, somebody did make the statement on a recent YouTube video when they were test riding an electric bike, saying they didn't feel so safe because it didn't make any noise. Well, that's very subjective. It is utterly subjective. It is a claim, it is an assertion, it is an opinion. The one thing it is not is an unarguable fact. Now, I stand to be corrected on this. I would love for somebody to go, well, actually, this study was done blah blah blah, and it showed that this is in fact the case. Okay, fine, great. Show me the evidence, show me the studies. And as long as it is an impartial study, not funded by Delcovic or Vance and Hines or any of these other loud pipe manufacturers, and also not funded by any of the road safety pressure groups, an independent study, an academic study, then that would certainly be worth looking at. Until that time, I'm afraid all you're doing is making a claim. It doesn't matter if your second cousin, twice removed, friends, brothers, uncles, friend heard of an incident where somebody didn't pull out in front of somebody because they had a loud pipe. That's apocryphal, that's urban myth, that's not evidence, I'm afraid. So, solid evidence. And you usually find that the same people that claim that loud pipes save lives also claim that high-vis or reflective clothing, or any other type of high visibility, what they call it, visual conspicuity measures, they claim they don't work. Now, what I think is at work here is not so much what does or doesn't work, but what does or doesn't look or sound cool. Now, I certainly would be one of the first to say that, well, actually covering yourself in day-glow yellow and reflective white stripes doesn't look cool. But if it means it prevents one car driver from pulling out of a junction in front of me, I think it's worthwhile. Now, having said that, I'm not actually wearing high vis. I don't have any. I am thinking about getting it, and when I find the right stuff, I will do it. What I do have is an LED daytime running light bar on the front of my bike, which which is quite visible, quite noticeable. Hopefully that does some of the job of making me more apparent to other road users. Now, there was a study in Denmark, I believe, not that long ago, into the effect of wearing high-vis clothing on a group of cyclists, on a study population of cyclists. But let's assume that the effect overall is the same. And obviously, the body of the cyclist is probably more visible than, say, my body on this motorcycle, because I've got this big fairing with a smoked screen in front of me. That's where the daytime running light comes in. But there's also, I think a few months later, another study conducted in the UK, I think it was Nottingham University, that said that... Actually, did I get to the point about the cyclists in Denmark? Well, they said that it actually did result in a 47% decrease in injury accidents amongst the population under study. That wasn't a huge population, it wasn't a national survey by any means, but that was a significant reduction in injury accidents. And then I was going to go on to say there was another study in the UK that said that they found, or they seemed to find, that wearing high-vis clothing made cyclists more likely to be involved in an accident. But of course, the thing is, with all of these studies and analysis of statistics, is that it's an interpretation. It's looking at the numbers and trying to draw some conclusion from them. And as we all know, that the old saying, I can't remember who said it now, was it Henry Ford, said something about the lies, damn lies and statistics. Obviously the insinuation being that you can make statistics support any argument you care to put forward, just by revising them and changing the premises on which those statistics are based. So now, I said that was probably going to be a bit controversial, a bit get people's backs up a little bit by questioning the claim that some people seem to take on board very strongly, that loud pipes save lives. But please, if you think this is true, please go and find the studies, go and find the research that proves this to be the case, and post a link in the comments. I'd love to see it. One thing that the Nottingham study did suggest from their findings was that there was a potential correlation or potential phenomenon in the group wearing high vis, that this may have in some way affected their behaviour. Now, it might be that this is similar to something I heard some years ago. Somebody made the claim that all the safety features that we're now finding in cars are actually contributing to people driving less safely. There's a subconscious feeling that I've got seat belts, I've got airbags, I've got crumple zones, I've got all these anti-lock brakes, all these safety features. I don't have to worry so much about how I drive. It's actually potentially leading to people being involved in more accidents. I think the person who made that comment did say that probably the best safety feature for cars would be a 12-inch sharpened spike sticking up towards the driver's chest from the middle of the steering wheel. And obviously, the inference being that if you're involved in an accident, you're going to die because that spike's going to go straight through your chest. And I suppose there is some grain of logic in that. If you feel less at risk, are you going to indulge in more risky behaviour? Do these cyclists that wear high vis then put themselves in situations where they're more likely to be involved in an incident or an accident? Now, people always say, oh well, it's car drivers, they never give cyclists enough room when they overtake them, etc. So I'm sure that is clearly sometimes the case, but I think that's going to happen whether the cyclist is wearing high vis or not. So the other thing, of course, is that we say that loud pipes save lives and high vis clothing doesn't work. That must be why all the emergency services, especially those that use motorcycles, the police and paramedics, etc., that's why they all have wide open pipes and all wear black leather, isn't it? And don't bother marking up their bikes with reflective and high vis panels. And of course that's not true. They run standard factory exhausts with silencers and wear everything high vis that they could possibly get hold of. Oh, nice. And the other factor to consider is that within the last couple of years the French government has passed a law requiring motorcyclists to wear high vis jackets, and I believe it's either full vests or full jackets, as opposed to Sam Brown type reflective belt. Nice looking out over the valley there. So if high vis doesn't work, why would the French government do that? And if loud pipes were safe, why would they not make it law that instead of having noise restrictions on exhausts, have an exhaust as loud as you can? Of course they don't do it because it's not actually a safety feature, or there is no evidence, no studies, no research to support it being a safety feature. So there we go. I suspect that's probably going to get a few people exercise and go, oh, of course loud pipes save lives, oh, blah, blah. Yeah. Of course they do. If they do, prove it. Show me the evidence. All I know from my point of view is that I believe that you can be seen from a lot further away than you can be heard. And that's just reminded me of an example of my own personal experience. Last year I was sitting in my car in stationary traffic on a busy piece of road, two lanes of traffic, 2 lanes each way, dual carriageway. The windows were shut, but I didn't have the stereo on. Oh, excuse me. And of course the traffic was backed up behind me, both lanes. And I just happened to glance across in my near side mirror. I was in the right hand lane, lane 2, and noticed a bike filtering between the lanes of traffic. And now I must point out that at that point I couldn't hear anything to do with the bike. And as the bike came level with me and went past, then I could hear the loud pipes on it. It was a Harley it was making the usual Harley noise. The reason I spotted it is because A, I looked, which is a problem with a lot of people not looking properly, or they look but they don't see. And also the bike had its headlight on. So basically I saw it quite a while before I heard anything. In fact, I didn't hear anything until it got alongside me. And when you think about it, the physics of how exhausts are set up, of course, is they're pointing to the back of the bike. So even though overall, yes, they will be louder, the majority of the noise, as with standard exhaust, is going to go back away from the bike. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the evidence doesn't stack up for loud pipes saving lives. I mean, the jury seems to be out on high vis. Whether it actually helps alleviate the problem or aggravates the problem. What is this person doing? I think I'm going to have to go blasting past them soon. Yeah, here we go. Out for a nice little spin, are we? On a sunny day. We'll go down there one day. It looks like a nice road. I think that's enough blabber for now. I'll probably set the cat among the pigeons with that one. Or as a former colleague of mine used to say, threw in a hand grenade and run. I expect I'll get some, if I get any comments, I expect a few will be uncomplimentary and unflattering. Don't get me wrong, I'm not all for the quietest exhaust you can get. I mean, some Hondas sound like sewing machines. I would like an exhaust. I think the exhaust on this bike has got quite a nice tone, but if I was going to replace it, I'd probably get something like a nice Delcovic, which has got a removable baffle if you want to be obnoxious and antisocial. But as with the baffle in, it's probably just got a nice throaty rumble to it, which would probably be quite nice. Of course, one thing that people who say loud pipes save lives don't tell you is that, of course, they're probably running the standard horns, OEM horns on their bikes. Now, it continually baffles me as to why manufacturers put these pathetic, weedy little beepers on speedy machine, any machine, even the smaller motorcycle is capable of breaking all the speed limits in this country. So if you wanted to be safer, why not just upgrade the horn? I mean, this bike had dual horns on it, but like I say, they were the weedy beepers, the flat pancake style ones. I took those off and replaced them with some of the snail horn type ones, the snail shell looking ones. They're only cheap eBay ones, but they do the job, and when they break I'll get some more. I'll probably spend a bit more next time and get some Hella ones. And of course the thing is that the horn is louder, but it only makes that loud noise when I want it to, when I press the button. A loud exhaust makes the noise all of the time. Now, I think it was Snowcat, the Canadian motovlogger, who put up a video a year or two ago, something he found, not relating to him directly, but something he'd found of a guy who had a Harley with open pipes on it, who was thoroughly pissing off his neighbours. So to the point where one of the neighbours put a note on the bike to the effect that if this thing wakes me up early in the morning again, one more time, things will get a lot more serious. And of course, you know, I assume the guy just ignored that and carried on. And so eventually, whoever it was ended up trashing the bike. Now, I'm not saying that person is right, but to a degree I can see where they're coming from. Perhaps the neighbour is a night worker who, you know, gets, or a shift worker that gets home in the early hours and has only just got off to sleep when maybe the guy with the Harley is leaving to go to his work early in the morning. So there's a certain selfishness about it. Whereas obviously if he'd just had loud horns fitted on the bike, something like a Stebble Nautilus or something like that, of course that wouldn't annoy the neighbours unless he beeped it as he went down the road from his house. So there we go. Upgrade your horns instead of fitting loud pipes, or instead of fitting very loud pipes. Fit some nice throaty pipes, yeah, nice. And of course pipes only make the most noise when you're revving or accelerating, revving the engine or accelerating, same thing obviously. So when you're cruising along or filtering or something like that, you're going to be on a very low throttle setting, and therefore your loud pipes aren't going to be very loud. So how are they going to make a difference in that regard? No, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. It's just, is it vanity, exhibitionism, wanting to give the appearance that you're just like your track hero? No. That is a rather splendid view out there. False neutral. Lovely. Well, actually it was the real neutral. Don't know why I did that. Look at that scenery and that blue sky. Amazing. Yee-hoo. Absolutely beautiful day. I don't know what the temperature is, but it's got to be up in the 20s centigrade, getting up towards 60, maybe above that, I don't know. This is Dumpton, a nice little village. Everybody's out in or on their speed machines this weekend. There's any point in taking a wide visible line here. I can see the entirety of the road around the bend from just being anywhere. bend that. Tightens up a little bit as you come to the crest. That's nice.